Hi everyone, my name's Allison and I am your Vinted Value Mama. If you clicked on this video, it's probably because you're new to buying and selling on Vinted and you've heard some horror stories online about getting scammed out of all your money. So, I wanted to take this opportunity to tell you about some common scams on Vinted, if I've ever encountered them in the hundreds of transactions I've had on Vinted, what you can do to protect yourself, and I'm going to be rating them. So starting off with that's not even really a scam, all the way up to okay, this is something that you need to be aware of. I've also got a couple of red flags at the end of the video. They're not necessarily scammy behavior themselves, but it's actually going in the scam direction. So be sure to watch all the way until the end. First up, we've got selling things for more than they're worth. Drop shipping items that are bought from Temu or Shine, buying a bunch of toys at Lidl and selling them for way more on Vinted. Controversial, but I don't think this is actually a scam. I think people can sell things for whatever price they want, and if somebody is willing to pay that price, then who am I to disagree with them? But people really get upset about it online. So let me know in the comments below. Do you think this is a scam? Do you think it's immoral to buy a bunch of toys and then sell them for a higher price? Do you think, hey, if somebody wants to spend 30 euros on Hello Kitty pajamas, I wouldn't do it, but it's their life. They can do what they want. Now, that one was not really a scam. We're going to move up the scale to slightly scammy. So, next up on the scam scale, we have the significantly not as described scam. This is a classic. You buy a new dress on Vinted and it has a stain on it. Or you buy a wool sweater, but when you read the tag, you see that it's actually acrylic. Is it a scam? Is it not a scam? Maybe the seller didn't notice that there was a stain on the dress. Maybe they don't know the difference between wool and acrylic, even though all they have to do is read the label and it's perfectly clear. So, the seller is hoping that they can sell something for a slightly higher price, and they are gambling that you won't want to pay the return shipping and will just keep the dress, even though it's got a little stain on it. This also happens to sellers. Sometimes they've sent something off and the buyer says, "You didn't tell me about this stain on the dress." And they send a photo of a random piece of fabric with a stain on it. And those buyers are hoping that the seller will let them keep the dress and still give them a refund so that they get the dress for free. How can you avoid this scam? I don't know that it's entirely possible to avoid. I've definitely gotten some things in the past that said they were in very good condition and then they arrived with pilling and stains. The most important thing to remember is not to gamble, so to speak, with so much money. If you order a €5 dress and it comes with a stain on it, and that's a bit disappointing. But if you order a €50 dress and it comes with a stain on it, then you have a real problem. That's gonna ruin your whole day. So, just be careful when shopping on Vinted and don't gamble with too much money. The next scam, which is also a variation on selling something for more than it's worth, is selling counterfeit items. Now, this makes it up into officially a scam because it's illegal to sell counterfeit items. So you shouldn't do it. But the counterfeiter is trying to sell you something that has a lower value for a higher price. To me, this is really similar to the last two scams. The value is what you're putting on the item. And I hate to say it, but I wouldn't buy high value items off of Vinted. Now, Vinted does have the new item authentication program where they will check and make sure that it actually is a legitimate item and not a counterfeit item. I've heard it's pretty hit or miss, and I just wouldn't gamble with that much money on Vinted, quite frankly. It also happens that sometimes the buyer will say, "This is a counterfeit item, I want to return it." And the seller says, "It's not a counterfeit item. Go ahead and send it back to me. I'd be perfectly happy to get my Nike Jordans back again." And then the buyer sends a counterfeit item back. So they got to keep the real item and they get their money back. It's a really difficult situation. If you're the seller, you can't really trust the buyer. If you're the buyer, you can't really trust the seller. I would just buy some different sneakers on Vinted if you really want to, and not Jordans. That's all I'm saying. Okay, next we have the real sort of meat and potatoes scam, the scammiest of all the scams. And that is someone will send you a link or a QR code, something like that, and they'll say, I've bought your item. You just have to put your details in. And then you put your details in and they rip off your credit card number. So this is mostly a scam that affects the sellers. I guess completely a scam that affects the sellers. There will probably be something similar for buyers in the future because scammers are very tricky. But how can you avoid this? You don't click on any links on Vinted. Vinted has really cracked down on links though, so now they send QR codes, which are the same as a link. Don't follow any QR codes on Vinted. Don't give anyone your WhatsApp, your email, because that's just them trying to send a link to you that way. And don't fill out any credit card information if someone is trying to buy something for you. Basically, just stay on the app and you'll be fine. Now, I've got a couple red flags that aren't really scams, but they're a red flag. They mean someone might be thinking about scamming you. One is for buyers or sellers. The other person says, "I'm gonna buy this from a different account," or "I'm going to sell this from a different account." Now, they're doing that because they probably have a really great account with lots of positive feedback. And if they're going to do something scammy, they want to do it from a different account. If they're going to get banned by Vinted, they want to do it from a different account. So if someone tells you that they need to switch accounts for some reason, just don't do it. Don't buy from that person. Don't sell from that person. Don't sell to that person. It's going to be a scam. The other red flag is trying to get you to go off Vinted. So saying you can buy this on PayPal instead, you can Venmo me the money, let's do it with bank transfer. I understand that some sellers don't like Vinted. They don't like the way that Vinted usually sides with the buyer, and they don't like that the buyer can basically always ask for a return. But you know who else doesn't like that the buyer can basically always ask for a return? Scammers. That's right. So, stay on the platform, don't click on any links, and don't gamble with more money than you can afford to lose. Those are really the best tips and tricks for avoiding scams on Vinted. It's pretty unlikely you'll get scammed on Vinted, in all honesty. If you want to see all of the clothes I bought last month and see whether I was scammed or not, please click the link up here. See you next time.